Shocking truth. Real lesbian and bisexual actresses in Hollywood revealed. Hollywood has always sold us dreams, but behind the red carpets and flashing lights lies a truth far more shocking. For decades, powerful actresses were forced to hide who they really were. Now the secrets are out. From A-list icons to rising stars, these women dared to love openly and live without fear. What you're about to discover will change how you see fame, freedom, and authenticity forever. Stay tuned. Some of these names will leave you speechless. Janelle Monáe. Janelle Monáe Robinson, born December 1st, 1985 in Kansas City, Kansas, has become one of Hollywood's most fearless and genre-defying stars. Raised in a humble household, her mother worked as a janitor, and her father drove a trash truck. Yet even from a young age, Janelle's mind was bursting with creativity that couldn't be contained. She wasn't just dreaming of fame, she was imagining worlds beyond this one. That cosmic vision would later define her identity both as an artist and as a proud member of the LGBTQ+ community. After studying at the American Musical and Dramatic Academy in New York, Janelle rejected conformity and moved to Atlanta, founding the Wonderland Arts Society, a creative hub that defied industry rules. Her early projects, like Metropolis Suite Y, The Chase, and The Arch Android, fused funk soul and science fiction into a futuristic universe centered on freedom and identity. Her signature tuxedo look became a statement, a rebellion against gender expectations and an embrace of individuality. In 2018, Janelle broke the silence. In a groundbreaking interview with Rolling Stone, she revealed she identifies as pansexual, declaring, "I consider myself a free-ass woman." That revelation wasn't a headline stunt, it was a cultural earthquake. Monáe's honesty empowered millions of fans who saw their own stories reflected in hers, especially young Black LGBTQ+ voices who had long been underrepresented in mainstream entertainment. Her acting career only magnified her message. As Mary Jackson in Hidden Figures 2016, Janelle portrayed one of NASA's first Black female engineers, a role that mirrored her own fight for equality and recognition. Her performances in Moonlight and Glass Onion showcased her emotional depth and unshakable confidence, blending vulnerability with strength. Janelle Monáe stands as a modern symbol of artistic liberation, a multi-Grammy nominee actress and activist who refuses to let Hollywood dictate who she should be. Her truth is her rebellion, her art is her protest, and her presence is proof that authenticity will always outshine fear. Queen Latifah. Born Dana Elaine Owens on March 18, 1970 in Newark, New Jersey, Queen Latifah has been a trailblazer from the moment she stepped into the spotlight. Long before Hollywood embraced diversity and inclusion, Latifah was already breaking barriers as a rapper, actress, producer, and eventually as a proud lesbian woman who built her empire on authenticity and grace. Her journey is one of courage, talent, and quiet revolution, proof that power doesn't always need to shout to be heard. In the late 1980s, Queen Latifah emerged in the male-dominated world of hip-hop with her debut album All Hail the Queen, 1989. At just 19, she used her voice to challenge sexism and uplift Black women through tracks like Ladies First and UNITY. Her lyrics were fierce, but her message was clear: women could lead, inspire, and dominate the stage without compromising who they were. By the early 1990s, she transitioned into acting, captivating audiences in Set It Off Chicago and the hit sitcom Living Single. Despite her fame, Latifah kept her personal life private for decades. Hollywood speculated, tabloids whispered, but she stayed focused on her craft. Then in 2021, during her BET Lifetime Achievement Award speech, she finally acknowledged her longtime partner Ebony Nichols and their son, publicly affirming her identity with the simple yet powerful words, "Ebony, my love." Happy Pride. It was a moment of truth that fans had awaited for years, not out of curiosity, but admiration. Her decision to live openly inspired millions, proving that authenticity can coexist with legacy. In an industry obsessed with image, she showed that love is not a scandal, it's strength. Beyond her artistry, Latifah has earned a Grammy, an Emmy, a Golden Globe, and an Oscar nomination, becoming one of the most decorated black women in entertainment history. Queen Latifah's story isn't about shock. It's about evolution. Her life teaches that true royalty lies in living honestly, loving freely, and leading by example. She is not just a performer. She's a movement, a mirror for courage, and a reminder that the crown shines brightest when worn without fear. Amandla Stenberg. Born October 23, 1998 in Los Angeles, Amandla Stenberg grew up destined to make noise not through scandal, but through truth. The child of a Danish father and an African-American mother, Amandla's very identity symbolized duality, heritage, strength, and self-discovery. She first stole the world's heart as Rue in The Hunger Games 2012, but her rise to stardom wasn't built only on talent, it was fueled by purpose. As she matured, Amandla used her platform to confront Hollywood's blind spots around race, gender, and sexuality. Her role in The Hate U. Give 2018 as Star Carter, a young black girl fighting systemic injustice, mirrored her own advocacy for social change. But her most powerful moment came off-screen. In 2018, she came out as lesbian, revealing she had previously identified as bisexual, but later embraced her truth fully. That courage inspired a generation of queer youth navigating their own identities in a judgmental world. Her transparency wasn't performative, it was healing. Named one of Time's most influential teens. Twice, Amandla became a cultural mirror, reminding fans that authenticity isn't weakness, it's power. Beyond film, she's an outspoken activist for gender equality, mental health, and LGBTQ+ rights. In a business often defined by image, she stands unfiltered and unafraid, a new kind of Hollywood hero. Amandla Stenberg represents the new era of visibility, bold, articulate, and unashamed. Her journey proves that being different isn't a flaw, it's the future. Tessa Thompson. Born October 3, 1983 in Los Angeles, Tessa Thompson has become one of the most dynamic and unapologetic voices in modern cinema. With Afro-Panamanian and Mexican roots, she embodies the fusion of cultures and courage. Her breakout role as Jackie Cook in Veronica Mars gave the world a glimpse of her talent, but it was her commanding presence as Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok 2017 that turned her into a global phenomenon. For years, Tessa subtly challenged Hollywood's restrictive image of womanhood, but in 2018 she boldly came out as bisexual, declaring she's attracted to both men and women. Her revelation made headlines worldwide, not because it was scandalous, but because it was so powerfully human. She used her voice to demand authentic representation for queer characters and actors of color in mainstream cinema. Her partnership and rumored romance with singer Janelle Monáe further fueled conversations about queer visibility in black entertainment, two women embracing fluidity and confidence without apology. On screen, she continues to portray complex, powerful women, from the fierce Bianca in Creed to the futuristic warrior in Westworld. Each performance radiates depth and defiance. Off-screen, Tessa is a vocal advocate for intersectional feminism and equal opportunity in film production. Her leadership within the Time's Up movement solidified her status as more than an actress. She's a changemaker. Tessa Thompson's truth is revolutionary because it redefines beauty and bravery for a new generation. Her authenticity, confidence, and unyielding voice prove that identity isn't a limitation, it's liberation. Lili Reinhart. Born September 13, 1996 in Cleveland, Ohio, Lili Reinhart became a household name as Betty Cooper in Riverdale, the all-American sweetheart with golden hair and hidden pain. But behind that innocent smile, Lili was fighting a private battle not just with fame, but with identity, anxiety, and the suffocating standards of Hollywood. For years, she kept her true self quiet, fearing misunderstanding. Then in June 2020, during the height of social change, she revealed she was bisexual in an emotional Instagram post, writing that she wanted to live openly and authentically. The confession stunned fans not because it was controversial, but because it was real. She wasn't making headlines for scandal, she was showing courage. Since then, Lily has used her voice to advocate for mental health awareness and LGBTQ+ acceptance, calling for honesty in a world obsessed with perfection. Through her poetry books, swimming lessons, and interviews, she's revealed her struggles with depression and body image, humanizing a star too often labeled flawless. Her honesty became a mirror for millions of young fans wrestling with identity. Beyond Riverdale, Lily's performances in films like Hustlers and Chemical Hearts showcase a raw, emotional depth that matches her real-life vulnerability. She's no longer just playing the girl next door, she's rewriting what that even means. Lily Reinhart stands as proof that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the foundation of strength. Her bravery lit the way for other young actresses to come out and speak freely, showing that even in Hollywood, authenticity still has the power to shine brighter than the spotlight itself. Dove Cameron, born January 15, 1996 in Bainbridge Island, Washington. Dove. Cameron was once Disney's golden girl, sweet, polished, and picture-perfect. Rising to fame through Liv and Maddie and the Descendants franchise, she became an icon for a generation of teens who grew up believing in fairy tale endings. But behind the glittering image, Dove was struggling with a truth she could no longer keep hidden. In 2020, she came out as bisexual later, clarifying she identifies as queer, saying, "I feel like I might as well be who I am." Her revelation broke the internet not for controversy, but for authenticity. At a time when many Disney alumni faced backlash for deviating from their wholesome pasts, Dove chose honesty over image. She admitted to feeling like she was living in two worlds, one for herself and one for everyone else, and finally chose to merge them. That decision turned her into one of Gen Z's loudest voices for LGBTQ+ representation. Since coming out, Dove's art has transformed. Her hit single Boyfriend became an anthem for queer love, topping global charts and racking up over 200 million streams. Her music videos, once safe and scripted, now pulse with vulnerability, confidence, and self-acceptance. Off-screen, she speaks passionately about therapy, self-love, and dismantling unrealistic beauty standards. Dove Cameron's story isn't just about sexuality, it's about rebirth. She's proof that breaking the mold can create something even more powerful: truth. In an industry built on fantasy, Dove reminds us that authenticity is the real magic. Aubrey Plaza. Born June 26, 1984 in Wilmington, Delaware, Aubrey Plaza has built her career on being unpredictable, weird, witty, and wonderfully authentic. From her deadpan brilliance as April Ludgate in Parks and Recreation, to her mesmerizing performances in Ingrid Goes West and The White Lotus, Aubrey has never fit neatly into Hollywood's boxes. That refusal to conform extends far beyond her screen persona. It's part of who she truly is. In 2016, Aubrey revealed to The Advocate that she identifies as bisexual, saying, "I fall in love with both men and women. I can't help it." Her honesty wasn't loud or performative, it was natural, matter-of-fact, and completely hers. Fans who had long admired her offbeat confidence found even more to love. She became a symbol of quiet rebellion, someone who made queerness feel not sensational, but normal, beautiful, and funny in its realness. What makes Aubrey remarkable is her ability to balance irony with intimacy. On-screen, she can make audiences laugh, cringe, and ache all in a single scene. Off-screen, she uses humor as armor and as a bridge, connecting her to outsiders who never felt they belonged. She has often spoken about her Puerto Rican heritage, her Catholic upbringing, and the long road towards self-acceptance, weaving humor into vulnerability like only she can. Beyond acting, Plaza's fearless choices, from producing indie films to championing diverse stories, have made her one of the entertainment industry's most respected creative forces. Her truth isn't about headlines. It's about permission to be strange, sincere, and unapologetically yourself. Aubrey Plaza stands as living proof that authenticity doesn't need to scream. It just needs to exist. Her bisexuality, like her art, doesn't define her, it amplifies her. She's not just another Hollywood rebel. She's a reminder that individuality is the revolution. Tara Strong. Born February 12, 1973 in Toronto, Canada. Tara Strong has one of the most recognizable voices in modern pop culture, yet few fans truly know the woman behind it. As the powerhouse voice actress behind Bubbles, the Powerpuff Girls' Timmy Turner, The Fairly Odd Parents, and even Batgirl and Raven in DC's animated universe, Tara has shaped childhoods for over 3 decades. But beyond her dazzling career, she's also been open about her journey with identity and acceptance. In the late 2010s, Tara revealed she identifies as bisexual, sharing that love and attraction for her go beyond gender. Her voice has given life to countless iconic heroines, but in that moment, she gave her own truth a voice. The revelation was met with warmth from fans who grew up listening to her characters and were now inspired by the woman behind them. While not one to seek the spotlight for her personal life, Tara's subtle honesty carries deep impact. She's long supported LGBTQ+ charities and spoken about the importance of representation in animation, where millions of young viewers first encounter ideas of identity and love. In an industry that often overlooks voice actors, she stands tall as a pioneer not just for her talent, but for her integrity. Her career includes over 600 credited roles, multiple Annie Award nominations, and a fan base that spans generations. Yet despite her success, Tara remains grounded, compassionate, and driven by purpose. Her bisexual identity is not a headline. It's part of a much larger story about a woman who used her literal and figurative voice to spread courage, acceptance, and joy. Tara Strong proves that even the most familiar voices can carry the most surprising truths, and that sometimes the heroes we hear growing up are also heroes in real life. Cynthia Nixon. Born April 9, 1966 in New York City. Cynthia Nixon has spent her life balancing glamour, grit, and activism. Most know her as Miranda Hobbs, the sharp-tongued lawyer from Sex and the City. But behind the scenes, Cynthia's journey is a powerful story of identity politics and courage. From Broadway prodigy to Emmy-winning actress and political voice, she's proven that Hollywood success and social justice can coexist without compromise. In 2012, Cynthia Nixon came out as bisexual, publicly acknowledging her long-term relationship with education activist Christine Marinoni, whom she married that same year. Together, they've raised a blended family symbolizing visibility and love that transcends Hollywood's glossy stereotypes. Her openness shattered myths about bisexuality, that it's a phase or confusion. Instead, she embodied confidence, clarity, and commitment. Beyond acting, Nixon's truth transformed into activism. In 2018, she ran for governor of New York, challenging political norms with an unapologetically progressive platform on education, racial equality, and LGBTQ+ rights. Though she didn't win, her campaign became a cultural moment, proof that representation in politics matters just as much as in entertainment. Cynthia's continued advocacy, from same-sex marriage to public school reform, cements her as more than an actress. She's a voice for justice. Her bisexuality isn't a headline to her, it's a part of her humanity. By living authentically, she's redefined what strength looks like in Hollywood and beyond. Cynthia Nixon is proof that truth doesn't just change careers, it changes systems. She's not just a star, she's a revolution wrapped in red hair and resilience. Evan Rachel Wood. Born September 7, 1987, in Raleigh, North Carolina, Evan Rachel Wood has never been afraid of difficult truths, either on-screen or off. Her acting debut at age 9 marked the start of a career defined by intensity and honesty. By her teens, she had stunned audiences with her haunting performance in 2003, earning a Golden Globe nomination. But while Hollywood labeled her a rising star, Evan was privately enduring pain identity struggles and the weight of expectations that few could imagine. In 2012, she publicly came out as bisexual, explaining that she had been open in her personal life for years, but wanted to use her platform to normalize queer identity. Her honesty was raw, relatable, and brave, a direct contrast to the polished perfection expected of young actresses. "I am who I am," she declared, making it clear that her sexuality wasn't a statement. It was a truth. Her courage extended beyond sexuality. In 2016, Evan revealed she was a survivor of sexual abuse and domestic violence. Rather than retreating, she fought back, co-founding the Phoenix Act, a California law extending the statute of limitations for domestic abuse survivors. Her activism turned personal pain into public progress, earning her recognition from human rights organizations around the world. On screen, her role as Dolores Abernathy in Westworld became symbolic, a woman breaking free from systems of control mirroring her own liberation. Each performance radiates authenticity and quiet defiance. Evan Rachel Wood is more than a star. She's a survivor, an artist, and a warrior for truth. Her story proves that bravery isn't just about coming out. It's about standing up, speaking out, and never letting fear write your story. Sarah Paulson. Born December 17, 1974, in Tampa, Florida. Sarah Paulson has spent her life redefining what it means to be a Hollywood leading lady. Known for her mesmerizing versatility in American Horror Story, Ratched and the People, v. O.J. Simpson, Paulson has built a career on breaking molds and living unapologetically as her authentic self. Her journey from struggling stage actress to Emmy-winning star is one of courage, craft, and complete honesty. In 2005, Sarah came out as lesbian, but it wasn't through a dramatic announcement, it was through living truthfully. She has been in a loving relationship with actress Holland Taylor, who is 32 years her senior. Their romance, often dissected by the media, became a quiet statement of strength that love doesn't care about age, gender, or convention. When questioned about it, Sarah simply said, "I'm in love." That's all that matters. Her boldness extends to her work. In every role, whether playing the chilling nurse in Ratched or the tormented heroine in AHS Asylum, Sarah brings emotional intensity that mirrors her personal bravery. She has won a Golden Globe, a Primetime Emmy, and Critics' Choice Awards, proving that authenticity and excellence can coexist. Paulson often speaks about the responsibility of representation, encouraging young queer people to live fully, not fearfully. She doesn't chase trends or titles, she builds legacies. Her fearlessness in love and art sends a powerful message. Success isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about being real in a world full of performance. Sarah Paulson stands as living proof that truth is timeless and courage is contagious. Her story reminds us that in Hollywood's maze of illusions, honesty is still the greatest act of rebellion. Kate McKinnon. Born January 6, 1984 in Seacliff, New York, Kate McKinnon has become one of the most beloved comedians of her generation. Best known for her iconic work on Saturday Night Live, where she impersonated everyone from Hillary Clinton to Justin Bieber. Kate shattered barriers simply by being herself, openly gay, brilliantly funny, and endlessly bold. She came out as lesbian in 2007, long before Hollywood made queer visibility mainstream. Her presence on SNL wasn't just groundbreaking, it was healing. For millions of LGBTQ+ viewers, seeing a woman who was both unapologetically queer and unapologetically hilarious was revolutionary. In her own words, "Comedy made me brave." That bravery turned her into a 2-time Emmy Award winner and one of Time's 100 most influential people. Her success reached global audiences with roles in Ghostbusters, Bombshell, and Barbie, where she proved that humor could coexist with intelligence and heart. Yet behind the laughter, Kate remains humble and private, often deflecting fame with self-deprecating wit. She's not a celebrity chasing attention. She's a storyteller using laughter to make the world softer, kinder, and freer. In 2020, her emotional tribute to Ellen DeGeneres at the Golden Globes, where she thanked Ellen for making it less scary to be gay on TV, brought the audience to tears. It was a full-circle moment, a queer comedian honoring another trailblazer, proving how representation ripples through generations. Kate McKinnon's legacy isn't just about comedy, it's about courage. She turned vulnerability into laughter, difference into power, and authenticity into art. She reminds us that sometimes the boldest truth is told through a smile. Shailene Woodley. Born November 15, 1991, in San Bernardino County, California. Shailene Woodley has always lived life on her own terms. From her breakout role as Amy Juergens in The Secret Life of the American Teenager to her fearless performances in The Fault in Our Stars and Divergent, she quickly became one of Hollywood's most admired young talents. But beneath her natural beauty and free-spirited energy, Shailene was quietly breaking boundaries that few actresses dared to touch. Unlike many who play it safe, she has always spoken about identity, spirituality, and love with unfiltered honesty. In a candid 2014 interview, Shailene revealed that she identifies as pansexual, saying, "I fall in love with souls, not genders." That one statement shattered stereotypes and showed the world a different kind of Hollywood star, one who values connection over conformity. Her pansexual identity mirrors her entire life philosophy, fluid, authentic, and rooted in freedom. She's known for living minimally, making her own toothpaste, and spending months disconnected from fame to reconnect with nature. This simplicity, paired with spiritual awareness, has made her a role model for individuality in a culture obsessed with image. Beyond her sexuality, Woodley is also an outspoken activist, arrested in 2016 for protesting the Dakota Access Pipeline. Her courage in both art and activism reveals a rare integrity. She doesn't just play heroes on screen, she lives like one off it. Shailene Woodley's story is not about rebellion, it's about self-acceptance. In an industry built on illusion, she continues to prove that truth in all its forms is the greatest freedom. Anna Kendrick. Born August 9, 1985 in Portland, Maine, Anna Kendrick has charmed audiences with her sharp-wit powerhouse vocals and undeniable authenticity. Best known for her roles in Pitch Perfect, Up in the Air, and Into the Woods, Anna's rise from Broadway prodigy to Oscar-nominated actress has been nothing short of meteoric. But unlike many of her peers, Kendrick has always approached fame and identity with grounded honesty rather than spectacle. While her name often appears alongside LGBTQ+ icons due to her outspoken allyship and portrayals of diverse characters, Anna has been clear about her own sexuality, confirming in interviews that she identifies as heterosexual. Her inclusion in conversations around sexuality often stems from her deep empathy and understanding of the LGBTQ+ community, not from self-promotion. She has used her platform to amplify acceptance and love, making her an ally whose actions speak louder than words. Kendrick's openness about mental health, anxiety, and relationships has also made her one of the industry's most relatable voices. She doesn't hide behind glamour, she embraces imperfection. With over 20 million social media followers, she connects with fans through humor, vulnerability, and her refusal to take fame too seriously. From performing on Broadway at age 12 to earning an Academy Award nomination at 24, Anna's career proves that authenticity sells more than image. She doesn't chase controversy or trends, she simply exists as herself, honest and human. Anna Kendrick's truth may not be shocking, but it's rare in a world full of masks. She wears none. Her legacy isn't about revelation, it's about integrity. Rebel Wilson. Born March 2, 1980 in Sydney, Australia, Rebel Wilson built her empire on comedy, but behind her trademark humor was a truth she kept hidden for years. From her breakout as Fat Amy in Pitch Perfect to scene-stealing roles in Isn't It Romantic and Senior Year Rebel, became one of Hollywood's most bankable comedic stars. Yet beneath the fame and laughter, she was on a deeply personal journey, one that led to an unexpected and powerful revelation. For much of her career, Wilson remained private about her relationships. Then in June 2022, she stunned fans by introducing her partner, fashion designer Ramona Agruma, and publicly came out as lesbian. Her Instagram caption read, "I thought I was searching for a Disney prince, but maybe what I really needed all this time was a Disney princess." It was heartfelt, humorous, and profoundly freeing, a declaration that celebrated love in its purest form. Do you believe Rebel Wilson's story shows that courage can bloom at any stage of life, no matter how long you've been hiding your truth? Her announcement wasn't about spectacle. It was about reclaiming power. After facing rumors and invasive media scrutiny, including attempts by journalists to out her without consent, Rebel turned the narrative into one of self-determination and pride. She showed millions of fans that authenticity is not a luxury, it's a right. Since coming out, Wilson has flourished personally and professionally, balancing her roles as actress, entrepreneur, and mother with newfound joy. She's become an advocate for body positivity, mental health, and LGBTQ+ visibility, proving that comedy can heal, empower, and inspire. Rebel Wilson's truth isn't about reinvention, it's revelation. By embracing who she is, she transformed her laughter into liberation, reminding the world that the funniest thing about love is how real it feels when you finally stop pretending. Cara Delevingne. Born August 12, 1992 in London, England, Cara Delevingne rose from rebellious British model to global icon, redefining what beauty and authenticity look like in the modern age. With her signature brows, magnetic energy, and defiant attitude, Cara broke every rule the fashion industry tried to impose. But beneath the confidence was a young woman struggling to understand herself and her truth about love. In 2015, she came out as bisexual, later identifying as pansexual, saying, "It's more about the person than the gender." Her words resonated deeply across generations, giving language and confidence to those who felt unseen. Her high-profile relationships with women like St. Vincent Ashley Benson and Michelle Rodriguez didn't define her. They reflected her belief that love is limitless. Her openness about sexuality came alongside honesty about mental health. Cara has spoken candidly about battling depression and internalized shame, admitting that she once hated who she was before learning to embrace herself. That vulnerability turned her into more than a celebrity. She became a symbol of emotional truth in an industry built on illusion. Beyond modeling, Cara proved her acting talent in Paper Town's Suicide Squad and Only Murders in the Building, showing she could command screens as powerfully as she did catwalks. Off-camera, she uses her influence to support the Trevor Project, UN Women, and other global equality movements, championing freedom of identity for all. Cara Delevingne is more than a face, she's a force. A woman who turned pain into purpose, shame into strength, and love into liberation. Her story reminds us that visibility isn't vanity, it's victory. Michelle Rodriguez. Born July 12, 1978 in San Antonio, Texas. Michelle Rodriguez has spent her career crashing through boundaries both on-screen and off. Known for her fierce portrayals of strong, independent women in the Fast and Furious franchise Avatar and Girl Fight, Rodriguez has built a legacy as one of Hollywood's most fearless action heroines. But behind her tough girl image lies a deeply personal truth about identity, love, and self-acceptance. For years, Michelle kept quiet about her sexuality, choosing privacy over publicity. Then, in 2013, she silenced the rumors once and for all. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, she said plainly, "I've gone both ways. I do as I please. I'm too curious to sit here and not experiment." That moment, casual yet powerful, made her one of the first major female action stars to openly identify as bisexual. Her revelation stunned the industry, not because of shock value, but because of who she was, a tough, unapologetic Latina actress in a genre long dominated by men. She shattered stereotypes, proving that strength has no gender and love has no boundaries. Following her confession, Michelle faced both praise and prejudice, but she refused to back down. Her mantra remained consistent: live honestly, love freely, and never apologize for who you are. Off-screen, she's been equally daring. A vocal advocate for diversity in film, Michelle has called out Hollywood's double standards, insisting that representation behind the camera is just as important as on it. Despite her rebellious image, her confidence and candor have earned her admiration from millions who see her as a symbol of authenticity. Michelle Rodriguez isn't just a movie star, she's a movement. She embodies the truth that power isn't about being fearless. It's about owning your fear and walking through it anyway. Gillian Anderson. Born August 9, 1968, in Chicago, Illinois. Gillian Anderson rose to global fame as Dana Scully in The X-Files, the skeptical FBI agent who became one of television's most enduring heroines. Behind the calm intellect and fiery red hair, however, was a woman with a deep story of self-discovery, courage, and transformation. Anderson's evolution from sci-fi starlet to cultural icon is inseparable from her honesty about love and identity. In 2012, Anderson revealed in an interview with Out magazine that she identifies as bisexual, saying she had relationships with women long before her marriages to men. What made her confession remarkable wasn't its timing, but its tone, open, reflective, and completely unapologetic. She explained that she never felt the need to make a big announcement because it had always simply been part of who she was. Her statement struck a chord because it reflected an often overlooked truth that sexuality can be complex, evolving, and deeply personal. Fans who grew up watching her on The X-Files saw not just an actress, but a woman comfortable in her own skin, something rarely shown in the 1990s. Since then, Gillian has continued to challenge expectations, delivering acclaimed performances in The Fall, Sex Education, and The Crown, where she portrayed Margaret Thatcher with haunting precision. Each role has showcased her unmatched ability to blend intellect with sensuality, a quality that mirrors her real-life balance between strength and vulnerability. Beyond acting, Anderson has been a powerful advocate for women's rights, mental health, and LGBTQ+ acceptance, using her voice to break silence where others stay quiet. Her bisexuality is not her headline, it's her harmony seamlessly woven into the brilliance of her artistry. Gillian Anderson reminds us that truth doesn't always need to shout. Sometimes it speaks through grace, intelligence, and the quiet confidence of someone who truly knows who she is. Lindsay Lohan. Born July 2, 1986, in New York City. Lindsay Lohan rose from a child star to one of Hollywood's most talked-about figures. Her charm, talent, and striking beauty made her an instant favorite with films like The Parent Trap 1998, Freaky Friday 2003, and Mean Girls 2004. But behind the fame and flashing cameras, Lindsay was living a life of extremes, intense stardom, public scrutiny, and deep self-discovery. Her relationships became tabloid fuel, especially her romance with DJ Samantha Ronson, which dominated headlines in the late 2000s. At the time, Hollywood wasn't kind to queer love stories, especially those involving women. Lohan faced endless speculation about her sexuality, and for years she refused to define herself. Then in 2013, during an interview with Piers Morgan, she clarified that she identified as heterosexual, though she acknowledged her love for Samantha as real. Despite the chaos, Lindsay refused to fade away. She rebuilt her career quietly, opening successful businesses in Dubai and returning to acting with Netflix's Falling for Christmas, 2022. Her journey from troubled starlet to mature businesswoman mirrors the resilience of someone who's learned to live life on her own terms. While Lindsay doesn't identify as part of the LGBTQ+ community, her openness about past relationships broke barriers at a time when few dared to speak. She showed that love in any form doesn't deserve shame. Her story is one of redemption, self-awareness, and grace in the face of endless judgment. Lindsay Lohan's shocking truth isn't about scandal, it's about survival. She remains proof that even after Hollywood tries to write you off, you can always reclaim your narrative. Demi Lovato. Born August 20th, 1992 in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Demi Lovato has lived more lives than most artists twice their age. From Disney stardom in Camp Rock to becoming a global pop icon, Demi's voice has always carried power both on the microphone and beyond. But beneath the fame and Grammys lay years of pain, identity struggles, and public battles with addiction, body image, and mental health. In 2021, Demi came out as pansexual, later describing themselves as non-binary and adopting they/them pronouns, while later re-embracing she/her as well. Their statement, "I'm attracted to human beings regardless of gender," marked a pivotal moment in celebrity culture, giving millions permission to live authentically. Their journey wasn't easy. Demi has faced near-death experiences, including a 2018 overdose that forced them to reevaluate their entire existence. Instead of retreating, they transformed their pain into activism using music like "Skin of My Teeth," and 29 to expose the pressures and abuses often hidden behind Hollywood's polished facade. Their openness about sexuality, gender, and recovery has positioned Demi as one of the most influential queer voices in pop music today. Lovato has sold over 30 million albums, earned 2 Grammy nominations, and continues to use their fame to support LGBTQ+ rights, addiction recovery programs, and anti-bullying campaigns. They've proven that survival itself can be an act of rebellion, and that truth is the most powerful form of art. Demi Lovato's shocking truth isn't about controversy, it's about courage. Their journey from breakdown to breakthrough shows that healing doesn't erase scars, it turns them into anthems. Megan Fox. Born May 16, 1986 in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, Megan Fox was once Hollywood's ultimate fantasy, the it girl who defined early 2000s beauty. From her breakout as Michaela Baines in Transformers 2007 to her unforgettable turn in Jennifer's Body 2009, Megan became a global sex symbol overnight. But while the world admired her looks, few saw the truth she was fighting to be respected as more than an image and struggling to live authentically in an industry that often punished women for honesty. In 2009, Fox openly came out as bisexual, telling Esquire, "I think people are born bisexual, and they make subconscious choices based on the pressures of society." Her admission was groundbreaking at a time when few A-list stars dared to talk about sexuality. Yet Hollywood twisted her words, turning vulnerability into scandal. Instead of celebrating her honesty, tabloids weaponized it, portraying her as provocative rather than brave. Megan endured years of media scrutiny and professional exile, often labeled difficult for speaking out against sexism and exploitation. But as times changed, so did her power. With her comeback roles and unfiltered interviews, she reclaimed her voice, speaking openly about her bisexuality, trauma, and spirituality. Her high-profile relationship with musician Machine Gun Kelly became another statement of self-expression, fiery, complex, and unapologetically hers. Beyond the fame, Megan has become an advocate for mental health, motherhood, and female empowerment. She's no longer the woman Hollywood tried to define, she's the one rewriting her own narrative. Megan Fox's shocking truth isn't just that she's bisexual, it's that she refused to let the world silence her again. She embodies what happens when a woman chooses truth over tolerance. Kristen Stewart. Born April 9, 1990 in Los Angeles, Kristen Stewart was thrust into the global spotlight as Bella Swan in The Twilight Saga, one of the most successful film franchises in history. But fame for Kristen came with suffocating expectations to act, to smile, and to fit into Hollywood's narrow mold of femininity. While fans obsessed over her on-screen romance with Robert Pattinson, Kristen was quietly struggling with her truth. After years of avoiding labels, she came out as lesbian in 2017, saying she was tired of hiding who she loved. Her statement, calm, confident, and unapologetic, sent ripples through an industry still learning how to handle queer women in leading roles. Stewart admitted that living inauthentically once made her sick, but embracing her sexuality changed everything: her confidence, her artistry, and her connection to fans. Her evolution mirrored her work. In Clouds of Sills, Maria 2014, she became the first American actress to win a César Award, France's Oscar equivalent. In Spencer 2021, she delivered a haunting Oscar-nominated portrayal of Princess Diana, channeling the pain of hiding one's real self. Off-screen, she's been in high-profile relationships with women including St. Vincent and Dylan Meyer, with whom she's now engaged. Unlike many who come out amid publicity, Kristen did it through quiet authenticity. Her fashion, her interviews, her films, all now reflect a freedom she once feared she'd never have. She isn't just an actress who came out. She's an artist who helped dismantle Hollywood's false ideals of womanhood and love. Kristen Stewart's shocking truth isn't rebellion, it's revelation. She proved that vulnerability is power, and that loving openly is the boldest act of all. Miley Cyrus. Born November 23, 1992 in Franklin, Tennessee, Miley Cyrus has never been afraid to shock the world, but her greatest shock wasn't a scandal. It was her truth. From her days as Disney's Hannah Montana to her rebellious reinvention as a pop provocateur, Miley's journey has always been about freedom. She's lived her life in the spotlight under scrutiny, and yet somehow she's managed to stay authentic through it all. In 2015, Miley publicly came out as pansexual, revealing that her attraction isn't based on gender, but on connection and spirit. "I'm open to love," she said, a simple yet revolutionary statement that inspired millions of young fans questioning their own identities. As one of the first mainstream pop stars of her generation to embrace fluidity so openly, she helped turn what was once taboo into something to be celebrated. Her pansexuality wasn't a phase or a press stunt, it was part of her evolution as an artist and human being. Through songs like Mother's Daughter, Younger Now, and Flowers, she's used music to explore themes of empowerment, heartbreak, and self-love. Beyond sexuality, Miley has spoken openly about gender expression, saying she doesn't fit neatly into male or female boxes. She just is. A fierce advocate for the LGBTQ+ community, Miley founded the Happy Hippie Foundation in 2014 to support homeless queer youth and marginalized voices. Her activism and artistry go hand in hand, wild, honest, and revolutionary. She's earned multiple Grammy Awards, billions of streams, and the rare ability to reinvent herself without losing her soul. Miley Cyrus's shocking truth isn't rebellion, it's revelation. Her story is a reminder that authenticity isn't an act. It's a revolution. Drew Barrymore. Born February 22, 1975 into one of Hollywood's most legendary families, Drew Barrymore was destined for stardom and chaos. She became a global sensation at just 7 years old with E.T. the Extraterrestrial 1982. But the pressures of fame led her down a dark path of addiction, instability, and self-destruction before she was even a teenager. Yet through all the turmoil, Drew emerged stronger, wiser, and more open than ever, especially about her identity and her heart. In 2003, she came out as bisexual, telling Contact Music, "Do I like women sexually? Yes, I do. Totally. I have always considered myself bisexual." At the time, few actresses of her stature were that candid, and Drew's honesty sent shockwaves through the industry. It wasn't sensational, it was sincere. She spoke about attraction as something spiritual and emotional, not confined by gender or expectation. Her openness reflected the same warmth that defines her career, from Charlie's Angels to Never Been Kissed and The Wedding Singer. Drew brought vulnerability to every role, a trait that mirrored her real-life evolution. Behind the camera, she built her own empire with Flower Films, producing and directing projects that centered empowerment, humor, and heart. Now a talk show host, philanthropist, and mother, Drew, continues to use her platform to normalize emotional honesty, from sexuality to mental health to forgiveness. Her story is one of rebirth, proving that no matter how early fame burns, authenticity can always reignite your light. Drew Barrymore's shocking truth isn't that she's bisexual, it's that she never let Hollywood define her. She wrote her own story with every scar and smile intact. Cameron Diaz. Born August 30th, 1972, in San Diego, California, Cameron Diaz has long been one of Hollywood's most magnetic forces, effortlessly blending humor, sensuality, and power. From her breakout in The Mask, 1994, to smash hits like There's Something About Mary, 1998, and Charlie's Angels, 2000. Diaz became a global symbol of confidence and beauty. But behind the glamour and laughter was a woman who refused to be confined by the industry's narrow ideas of love and identity. In 2014, Cameron publicly revealed that she identifies as sexually fluid, saying in an interview, "All women have been sexually attracted to another woman at some point." While her words were refreshingly honest, they sent shockwaves through a culture still uncomfortable with gray areas. She wasn't making a declaration for attention, she was normalizing an unspoken truth. Her openness reflected her philosophy on life, freedom over fear. After decades in the spotlight, Cameron chose to step back from acting in 2018, prioritizing self-discovery and peace over fame. In her time away, she married musician Benji Madden, became a mother, and built a wellness empire focused on health balance and authenticity. Her choice to walk away from superstardom was perhaps the most rebellious act of all, proof that happiness can't be scripted. Cameron's approach to love and life is rooted in independence. She's spoken often about rejecting society's labels, saying she refuses to live in anyone else's version of what womanhood or sexuality should be. In her quiet way, she's redefined freedom not as escape, but as the courage to just be. Cameron Diaz's shocking truth isn't scandal, it's serenity. She's proof that strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the power to live softly, honestly, and without apology. Ellen DeGeneres. Born January 26, 1958, in Metairie, Louisiana. Ellen DeGeneres didn't just change television, she changed culture. Long before it was safe, she became the first major sitcom star to come out as lesbian, not just privately, but on screen in the groundbreaking 1997 episode of Ellen titled The Puppy Episode. When her character said, "I'm gay," it wasn't just a line of dialogue. It was a cultural explosion that rippled through every corner of America. At the time, coming out could destroy a career, and for a while it did. Ellen's sitcom was canceled, sponsors fled, and she was blacklisted from Hollywood for nearly 3 years. But her courage built a bridge where none existed before. By the early 2000s, she reinvented herself as the host of The Ellen DeGeneres Show, which ran for 19 seasons, earned 33 Daytime Emmy Awards, and reached over 180 countries. Through humor and kindness, Ellen made millions laugh and millions more feel seen. Her journey wasn't without controversy. Later in her career, Ellen faced criticism over workplace culture, which complicated her legacy. Yet even with those challenges, her impact on LGBTQ+ representation remains undeniable. Her bravery paved the way for generations of queer actors, comedians, and everyday people to live openly. Ellen's story is one of transformation, from isolation to influence, from silence to global voice. She showed the world that laughter can be a form of activism, and that visibility is the first step toward equality. Her marriage to actress Portia de Rossi remains one of Hollywood's most visible and enduring same-sex unions. Ellen DeGeneres' shocking truth isn't that she's gay, it's that she dared to say it when no one else could. Her courage didn't just open doors, it tore them off the hinges. Jodie Foster. Born November 19, 1962, in Los Angeles, Jodie Foster grew up in front of cameras, but her real story happened behind them. From a child prodigy in Taxi Driver 1976 to an Oscar-winning powerhouse in The Accused 1988 and The Silence of the Lambs 1991, Foster became one of Hollywood's most respected and most private stars. Her genius, intensity, and emotional depth made her unforgettable. Yet for decades, she lived under the weight of a secret that nearly defined her career, her sexuality. In a time when being openly gay could end a career overnight, Jodie kept her truth guarded. Whispers followed her through every red carpet and interview. Then in 2013, during a heartfelt Golden Globe speech, she finally confirmed what fans had long suspected, that she was lesbian, and had quietly shared her life with producer Sidney Bernard for years. "I already did my coming out 1,000 years ago," she said with both pride and exhaustion. That moment wasn't a confession, it was liberation. Foster's truth wasn't about attention, it was about authenticity. In an industry obsessed with youth and image, she built a career on substance, intellect, and emotional honesty. Her 2 Academy Awards, 3 Golden Globes, and BAFTA Lifetime Achievement Award prove that talent speaks louder than gossip. Beyond acting, Jodie became a trailblazer behind the camera, directing powerful projects like Money Monster and Black Mirror. She has since married photographer Alexandra Hedison, living her truth with the same grace that's defined her artistry. Jodie Foster's shocking truth is not that she's gay, it's that she survived decades of silence without losing her voice. In a world obsessed with exposure, she proved that dignity can still be revolutionary. Lady Gaga. Born March 28, 1986, in New York City. Lady Gaga, Stefani. Joanne Angelina Germanotta has built a career on breaking rules, musical, cultural, and emotional. With her boundary-pushing, fashion-haunting vocals and theatrical brilliance, Gaga turned herself into an empire of art and activism. But behind the spectacle lies a deeply human story. A woman who turned pain, rejection, and truth into global empowerment. In 2009, Gaga publicly came out as bisexual, telling Rolling Stone, "I like women, and that's just who I am." Her statement, delivered at the height of her fame, was groundbreaking. It wasn't a headline, it was a message. Through songs like Born This Way, she built an anthem for an entire generation, telling millions of queer fans, "You're beautiful in your own way." Her impact goes far beyond music. Gaga's Born This Way Foundation, founded in 2011, supports mental health awareness and anti-bullying efforts, particularly for LGBTQ+ youth. Her honesty about trauma, depression, and chronic pain turned her into a symbol of resilience, not perfection. She's also an accomplished actress, earning an Oscar, 13 Grammys, and a Golden Globe, with unforgettable performances in A Star Is Born and House of Gucci. Gaga's sexuality has never been a gimmick, it's part of her creative DNA. She celebrates it not with shock, but with sincerity. She doesn't perform queerness, she lives it boldly and unapologetically, inviting the world to love louder and judge less. Lady Gaga's shocking truth isn't about controversy, it's about compassion. She turned her vulnerability into an art form, her identity into a movement, and her music into a lifeline for millions who once felt unseen. Cher. Born May 20th, 1946, in El Centro, California. Sherilyn Sarkisian, known to the world simply as Cher, is more than an entertainer, she's an institution. For over 6 decades, she's reinvented herself across music, television, and film, earning the title the Goddess of Pop. From her groundbreaking partnership with Sonny Bono in the 1960s to her Oscar-winning role in Moonstruck 1987, Cher has embodied one thing above all: unapologetic individuality. While the world speculated endlessly about her love life and sexual fluidity, Cher herself kept the narrative simple. In 1991, she confirmed she identified as heterosexual, but her fierce advocacy for the LGBTQ+ community made her one of its most beloved allies. Her compassion wasn't performative, it was personal. When her son Chaz Bono came out as transgender, Cher stood by him, publicly navigating confusion and growth with honesty that inspired millions of parents around the world. Cher's legacy is rooted in rebellion. She defied the norms of every era she lived through, refusing to fade, conform, or apologize. She has sold more than 100 million records, won an Academy Award, Grammy, Emmy, and Golden Globe, and holds the rare achievement of scoring a Billboard Top 10 hit in 6 consecutive decades. Her personal life, from her iconic fashion statements to her outspoken feminism, challenged Hollywood's obsession with youth and conformity. At nearly 80, Cher continues to tour, speak out, and shock the world simply by being herself. Cher's shocking truth isn't about sexuality, it's about survival. She's the living proof that authenticity doesn't fade, it only grows louder. In every performance, in every reinvention, Cher reminds the world that power belongs to those who never stop believing in themselves. Angelina Jolie, born June 4, 1975 in Los Angeles. Angelina Jolie has always been larger than life, an Oscar-winning actress, director, humanitarian, and one of the most complex figures in modern Hollywood. But long before her name became synonymous with global activism, Jolie was known for her mystery, her boldness, and her refusal to play by Hollywood's rules. In 2003, Angelina confirmed what many had long speculated: she is bisexual. She told Barbara Walters that she had fallen in love with both men and women, saying, "I love who I love. It's that simple." It wasn't a shock, it was a revelation. Her openness about sexuality in an era of rigid labels challenged the very foundation of Hollywood's image machine. Her early relationships, including her highly publicized romance with actress Jenny Shimizu, became symbols of a new, raw kind of Hollywood honesty. But Jolie's identity extends far beyond love. As her career evolved through roles like Girl Interrupted 1999, Mr. and Mrs. Smith 2005, and Maleficent 2014, she used her fame to champion real-world issues: refugees, women's rights, and war survivors. Appointed as a UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador in 2001 and later Special Envoy, Jolie has visited over 60 countries, raising awareness for displaced families and human rights. Her candor about sexuality, mental health, and motherhood has made her a symbol of self-acceptance. She's been open about her preventive double mastectomy and her emotional struggles, turning vulnerability into advocacy. With 3 Golden Globes, 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards, and an Oscar, Angelina has redefined what it means to be a Hollywood star, not flawless, but fearless. Angelina Jolie's shocking truth isn't about who she loves, it's about how she loves, fiercely, honestly, without apology. Her legacy proves that the most powerful revolution begins with owning your story. The truth about Hollywood's most powerful women proves that love, identity, and courage can't be scripted. From Janelle Monáe to Angelina Jolie, these stars shattered silence and turned authenticity into power. Their stories challenge what fame really means. Is it about perfection or honesty? Whether lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, or fluid, they've shown that truth always outlasts image. In a world built on illusion, their voices still echo louder than applause. But what do you think? Has Hollywood truly changed? Or is it still afraid of real freedom?